This is going to be a video to show how to start PSX and Microsoft Flight Simulator with wide PSX at a gate. Now, it would seem on the surface to be a simple thing to do, but when you load a Microsoft Flight Simulator airplane at the gate, it by default starts cold and dark. But if you want the lights and the control surfaces and the gear to work when connected with PSX, the Microsoft Flight Simulator airplane must be running. So here we are at Chiang Mai International Airport Gate 1, and we are in the Boeing 747-400, and it's cold and dark at the gate. So the first thing we need to do is to put PSX exactly where that airplane is. So let me just minimize this, and I've got PSX already running underneath. But as you can see, PSX is actually at London Heathrow and it's running, but we need it cold and dark at Chiang Mai. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to load a cold and dark situation file to get PSX cold and dark. So let's do that. Okay, so now we're cold and dark at London Heathrow. So the next thing we need to do is bring in wide PSX. So before we connect the network, let's go over here and take a look at the scenery bridge. What I want to do is I want PSX to be the slave to Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I'm going to click this button here. I'm going to go over here and start to connect the two. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to start the scenery bridge. Okay, so now PSX should be located at Gate 1 at Chiang Mai International Airport. Let's check that and look for the position. So we'll find the aircraft, and it is, if you can see that, it's at VTCC and it's at gate number 1. Alright, now Microsoft Flight Simulator is just settling down after the shock of that. So the next thing we need to do is we'll close the wide PSX bridge. We need to keep PSX running, but we need to go back with Microsoft Flight Simulator back to the menu and reload, because this time we need to reload on a runway with Microsoft Flight Simulator running. So there we go. Let's go back here and select departure airport. I'm going to choose Chiang Mai, but you don't have to, you can choose any. And I'm going to choose runway 36 and let's fly. Now while that's loading, I'm going to bring wide PSX back up again, and I'm going to go back to the scenery bridge, and this time we want Microsoft Flight Simulator to be the slave to PSX. So I'm going to click the other button, go back to the network, connect, go back to the scenery bridge, and now we just need to wait for Microsoft Flight Simulator to load on runway 36 at Chiang Mai with its engines running. And then it'll be a simple task of simply moving it to the gate, which is already positioned by PSX. So let's go back here, and there we are in the cockpit. Just check on the outside, and yep, that's at Chiang Mai International Airport, runway 36. The terminal's over here, and gate 1 is right at the end of the terminal. So if I now go over here and start. Okay, so what's happened there is PSX, wide PSX has now positioned the aircraft at gate number 1, and its engines are now running. So that's completed the process. Now the only thing that's left to do is to make sure that we save this as a situation. So we'll call this VTCC cold and dark gate 1, and we'll save that. Okay, so now whenever we want to start the aircraft at the gate running, all we have to do is start PSX in this position with this situation, and then run Microsoft Flight Simulator on any runway and connect the two with wide PSX, and that's it. A little bit of a wrap around just to get that to work, but once you've done it for the first time, then you can do that. You can reload it at any time you want. So thanks a lot, and look forward to seeing you out there up in the air.